Hey guys, Bowie here, and this is Things I've Learned with J.Storm Bryle's Ember Spirit in 719. I don't usually mention this, but I think it's relevant. He's against the current rank 1 in North American servers. Complexity Limp, probably one of the most underrated mids of all time. And one thing to point out as soon as the laning stage starts is how he pops his Flame Guard, but never right-clicks the Alch. If Alch does nothing, he is taking Flame Guard damage. If he attacks the Ember, the creep wave starts attacking him, and I did some testings. Percentage-wise, Alchemist kills Ember right-clicking him almost as fast as the creeps attacking Alchemist kills him. Which means that not only Alchemist wouldn't actually be getting any CS, he will die first because Flame Guard is on. So in this situation where Flame Guard is on, it's on Ember's best interest to not attack.
Never losing my stride, put my life in these lines. Your boy is one of a kind, I leave my stamp on these times like this the legacy. Here to defend it with verbal weaponry, known to bring the fire, devour all those who step to me. Yeah, so bang your head if you feel this. Shouts to PR and sub for always keeping it real, kid.
The DPS from Flame Guard also allows him to easily secure the ranged creep, and after the creep is dead, the one that deals the most damage out of the entire creep wave, he boops the Alchemist one time, showcasing how he actually cares about trading. So at the end of the first creep wave, Bryle's full HP, while Limp took 15% of his own. The second time Bryle attacks the Alchemist is here. Bryle cannot go for this ranged CS or he'll take tower damage, so as the Alchemist turns around, he gets another boop, and you're probably like, Bowie, what the fuck, why is this important? Well, Bryle got 2 solo kills in the Alch in the laning stage, and that definitely impacted the Radiant's timing and how effective that hero could play the game. And I think a big part of Dire winning were those solo kills. Alch ends up salving, so the solo kill I'm about to show did not happen necessarily because of the boops, but understanding trading and doing it reliably and doing it every time is a necessity if you want to become a better laner. This solo kill happens mainly thanks to the double damage. You can see that he sends more regen before even attempting the play, since he knows he's gonna take some damage for it. The second aspect of this kill worth highlighting is him learning Sleight of Fist. It's definitely not unheard of to get Sleight of Fist level 4, but not the expected build in this lane. Alchemist has no projectiles for you to dodge, and locking people down with Searing Chains is awesome because you deal more Flame Guard damage. You're probably gonna be diving the Alchemist, right? The thing though, is that he's dragging 2 creeps plus the ones in this wave, and Sleight of Fist allows you to land your chains way more reliably. First of all, against a tanky hero like Alchemist, you don't want to just turn your Flame Guard and just dive him. He just gets into the lane, turns Flame Guard as he did multiple times throughout the laning stage, I showed you that. What this achieves is first, damage onto the Alchemist, and also it helps clear some of the creeps. He uses the fact that Alchemist wants DCS to go on him, and then after this one right click, notice how he never drew aggro again, which means that as he goes up, the creeps aggro to this one, and just to be sure he lights a fist away from the creeps anyways, to get the chains and thus the kill, and since he did not draw aggro, he actually lives. Insanely close call, but very meticulously prepared with the self-purchase that he uses right away. Without double damage, the power spike to kill Alchemist has to be Ember being level 6 and Alchemist being level 5 or 4, because the Dispel and the Regen makes it way too hard for Bryle to take him down. We see the same approach from Bryle. He pops the Flame Guard as he was farming the wave, pretends to be contesting Alchemist's farm more than going for a kill, but as soon as only one creep is left, he can land the chains with no fear, setting up for the triple remnant. A lot of Ember players have the tendency of initiating with the triple remnant, and while that sometimes is needed versus range heroes, if you're against an Alchemist, this is a way more reliable way, and also harder for the supports to react, since from the outside it looks like you're just farming and then suddenly that hero is dead. What's way more impressive than the solo kills though, is how Bryle is able to play as aggressive as he does while farming that much, while going treads when it looks like he's going travels because he's everywhere. As he gets that kill, he rotates bottom with his invis, but let's be honest, it's kind of an obvious rotation. He had this invis for a while, so he doesn't force it. In fact, he was quite patient. He wanted to push this wave fast to get the rune, so he commits Flame Guard, and he gets the haste. A worse player would probably use the haste as soon as he found it. Ember is great at ganking, right? Wraith King is on level 6, you have a ward, let's just go. Bryle never takes his chances. In fact, without the Flame Guard, Ember is pretty garbage at ganking at this level, even with haste. So he lays a remnant in the area as if he was just looking for the rune and he goes back. First of all, you should ask yourself, why isn't him hunting the Alchemist? He's the problem, right? You have an Alchemist farming Radiance and you're gonna gank Alina or Wraith King? Well, against Chemical Rage and Dispel, Ember stands no chance of a solo kill unless Limp really misplays, which he doesn't expect him to do. The rune will stop anyway, so going bottom to hunt the Ursa is a huge waste of time, but check how he actually goes for a completely hard to avoid gank for the Radiant. He plops Flame Guard in lane, as if everything was fine, he did that countless times. Alchemist popped his ult, so he has no kill potential here, and then he quickly goes top. He dodges the LSA with the Sleight of Fist, and that is one kill. Since he went mid to push the wave first and ganked with the Remnant back to that lane, instead of, let's say, wait the Flame Guard to be ready and gank later, he accomplished two things. First of all, his tower is not taking any damage, and two, Radiant was never able to suspect the rotation anyways. This cheeky bastard does it again. As he retreats, he leaves another Remnant, and he goes mid to take care of things. Thanks to the ward, vision from Hero's bottom, and Radiant being super far forward once again after pushing the wave, he gets another kill in the same fashion. And while that happened, look at mid, wave under control. It's also important to note how he rarely used Flame Guard to push the wave if Alchemist is not there or if he doesn't have a Remnant ready to gank. He ends up TPing top to try and kill Lina, she escapes. Even when he's jungling here, while he waits for the runes, he doesn't use the skill because he understands how important it is to have it on if he wants to contest the bounty, and doing that is imperative versus a hero like Alchemist. His play is super good. As he sees the Lina, he's always aware of dodging the LSA, so as he attacks once, he quickly goes behind her since he can perfectly see the cast animation being used. His mana is kinda low, and he has that regen. Look how he's able to style on Radiant even more. He doesn't just disengage. He uses one Remnant to kill the Axe, knowing he has no mana for another one. He doesn't desperately use his bottle charges hoping for enough mana. As he gets into the trees, he pops the regen, allowing him to not only disengage, but to fully recover his mana and defend his tower from the catapult wave incoming. If we go back, you can see that he disengages in an angle where it's impossible that he gets chased down. Whereas if he just pops his bottle and just tries to Remnant towards the dire side of the map, there's a pretty big chance that he actually dies. Flame Guard is ready here, yet he holds on to the skill one more time. He does not show waves with it unless it's pushing way too hard onto the dire side. He doesn't jungle with it as well. The only reason he commits the skill for the next wave is that he has vision of several heroes while he has this beautiful siege creep that he wants to use to get the tier 1 mid. By the way, this is his first death. But look how he approaches it. His Flame Guard is about to get ready, he buys his items before going for it, he knows that Radiant is going ham in the top lane, and he later checks the Ursa's items, knowing that he's 5 levels behind the Ember, and he probably thought, well, if I can get the Searing Chains here, I'll try and go for this kill. First, he dodges most of the Fury swipes with Sleight of Fist since Ursa aggroed on another creep. He then locks the Ursa, and what he wants to do is bait the Enrage, and he does. As the Ursa salves, which he knew was an option, he cancels it, he gets the kill. Unfortunately, Limp does show up, and he was super close of having Searing Chance to run away. He dies, but as you can see, he barely lost any gold. When the wave is pushing like crazy since he died, he commits the Flame Guard to push 2 waves so that he can then go for a rotation with his Lifestealer. You always want to push your waves before going for anything. And one thing that Bryle is really good at is always expecting a reaction to his movements. Be it an LSA when he jumps Selena, Berserker's Call when he goes on the Axe. Look how he never fully commits. Lina was indeed there as he suspected, and once he gets a glimpse of her, he can Sleight of Fist, buying a bunch of time thanks to the skeletons. He went for this fight prepared, he left a Remnant nearby, so that even if Lina waited the LSA, it would be very hard for her to land it. But he does that as he places another Remnant, meaning he's buying even more time where Radiant cannot deal any damage, and they're taking a bunch of it. Note how he chills. He right-clicks here with no care in the world, but once anyone lifts its arms for an animation, he goes for another Remnant to try and dodge it, as he chases the dying Axe. Thanks to the haste, he survives, the Searing Chains kills one skeleton, taking the Battle Hunger out. Since there was a shrine and he stood nearby, not only they take the Wraith King out, but he never rushes. He only has one remnant, so just jumping the Elk or anyone is kinda crazy. He obviously goes for the higher priority target first, especially knowing he has no Manta or ult to dispel the Searing Chains. Later, when he sees the Wraith King, he doesn't go in either. He waits to separate the Ursa from the Wraith King while also getting the kill, while also completing his Battle Fury. 14-minute Battle Fury while farming less than 90 creeps. Bryle, being patient, is clearing this Roche fight as well. He pings the Roshan pit, but when he TPs, he doesn't rush the pit to try and snatch it. And I can see players that are doing as good as him in a game try it. They have a lot of lockdown on Radiant. He has no idea of how much HP Roshan has or if the Ursa has ult. And Ember is a glass cannon hero, especially with this build. Note how instead of chasing Lina down, he sees X going back and he uses his first Remnant to take him down. Then he decides to chase the Ursa, but watch closely. He could have used his Remnant anytime, but only after getting a second one ready and Sleight of Fist being pretty close, he goes, getting a kill and leaving. So at this stage, you might be asking, why Battle Fury against no illusion heroes? First of all, it's a great item on Ember. The mana regen allows you to do all sorts of things and be ready to fight at all times while also farming. Maelstrom shoves waves but doesn't give you the luxury of mana and HP regen. And in this game, not only he's playing against a greedy hero that he cannot hunt down with any items, he had a great early game, allowing him to go for it. It's also great versus the Wraith King skeletons because they have a lot of magic resistance, so the Maelstrom is pretty bad at dealing with them. Radiance, in a way, is a similar item that some members go for, thanks to your damage amp talent, but Lifestealer wanted to go for it, leaving the luxury choice pretty obvious for Bryle. Now, we will focus in some high-level team fights that Bryle went for this game. One of the problems with Ember against bulky heroes like the Alchemist, Axe, Ursa, and Wraith King is that you often feel powerless. You know that committing means dying, and also that not committing means very few teamfight contribution on a hero that ate a lot of farm in the early game. While Blink Dagger is not a damage item, it allows you to deal more damage, unlike pretty much any item in the game if you're good enough. For instance, look at this clip. Bryle tries to join his team. He gets there slightly late, but knows about a bunch of low HP heroes around. He doesn't go ham, even though he has the Remnant and the Blink. He plays around the vision that he has, while he postures close to the shrine, where low HP heroes go after a fight, and voila, forces a pretty long cooldown. This fight here showcases how time after time, he focuses on jumping either the Lina or the Axe. Both supports are way easier to burst than the other cores, and they offer less of a threat. Since he only has one Remnant, he doesn't use it straight away. He also dodges the LSA, and if you keep a very close eye onto the minimap, you see that Elk pops up slightly before he initiates, and Bryle seemingly runs away from nothing. He has no Lincolns ready yet, so that actually really impacts the teamfight. Lifestealer dies, but since Bryle is still full HP, he can keep dishing damage from afar, and only when the Ursa is left, he goes in. Another very spectacular thing is the way Bryle plays power threats Ember, and seemingly is everywhere around the map. For instance, in this clip, he was pushing top when he sees a bunch of Radiant heroes in that area. He had a Remnant to get out, does so, and as he farms away from that area, he expects Radiant to make a move. TPs, especially ones that are in the backpack, can often prove to be too late, so he just leaves one Remnant in this area. It's going to be bounty room time, so he knows what's going up while he postures bottom, but he quickly goes up to help. As he shows up, he gets another backup one, and see how he doesn't commit even though it looks like a 3-for-3? Alchemist can be a huge nuisance, so he stands away. As the buybacks are spent, look how he never overplays his hand. He gets the Searing Chains, has Flame Guard ready, but knows that the damage he offers with that skill, being that close, is not worth how much he can take at any moment. He tried to posture around the Acid Spray to jump the Elk, fails, but the fight still went great for them. That's Roche, and that's also eventually gained. Well guys, thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing for this video. If you have any feedback, please make sure to comment so I know if the videos I'm making are good for you guys. Twitter is where I talk about Dota and life, and you can follow me there if you want. Twitch is where I play and cast. If you have Amazon Prime, I really appreciate anyone that wants to support me. And Instagram is a place I don't use nearly as often as I should, but whenever I travel to events or I'm actually doing anything interesting, I try to post stuff there. And yeah, there's also a Discord channel that you can check. I guess that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and bye.